I love compost. This is compost that I've made. It takes about maybe 13 months. So it's cold composting. It's not hot composting. So it takes a year for the materials. You see the various materials behind me and on the floor, and I'm going to talk about those, what goes in, the balance between them. If we want to be successful in this endeavour of nutritious food, and I'm sure if you're all growing, you know, you've got allotments, you're growing food, you want it to be full of life, you know, because it's good for your health. If we want to do that, the most important thing is to learn you don't feed the plants. You don't feed the plants, you feed the soil. You look after the soil. And what you're really doing is you're looking after the microbial life in the soil. If that microbial life wasn't there, there would be no way for the plants to absorb the minerals that they want. I spend a lot of time standing at my compost bins, right? It's just, if I'm not around, people just gravitate to the compost bins. But it's when I'm working with compost, it's the fact that you're working with very natural processes and the natural laws, right? You have to be in, they're very, very simplistic. You have to be in tune with those. And it's not you don't need to become a scientist. You just need to have a sense, get the gist of it. Hydrogen is the simplest and the lightest element and the first element that was ever created. So in the very beginning, the 16 of those 17 elements that are needed for something to be alive didn't even exist. Now, I find that absolutely fascinating. They did not exist. They had to be created. Where were they created? They were created in the furnaces in the center of stars. Nuclear fusion took place, and hydrogen then, you know, first came helium, and then after that you began, over millions of years, you began to get all the different elements until, probably people know, there are 92 naturally occurring elements in our known universe. And of those 92, 17 are needed for something to be alive. Those minerals, those 17 things are in the ground, right? They exist naturally. Nutrients is another word for them. 17 of these nutrients that are needed are in the ground or in the air, okay? And a plant has to get access to them. And the question is, how does it do that? All the plants we see around us today, they're creating food through photosynthesis, mostly out of the air. They're taking the materials they need out of the air, they're taking the energy from the sun, and they're creating food. Think how hard won that food is. That plants, they give away up to 60% of the food that they make, they exude it. It's a great word. They exude it into the ground through their roots. Why on earth would they do that? Why would they give away this hard-won food? And what we need to understand is that their roots are not able to absorb the nutrients they need in the form the nutrients are in the soil. So they need help. Who do they get help from? They get help from microbial life. Bacteria, archaea, protozoa, mycorrhizal fungi, nematodes. And what they're doing is the plants are feeding those. That's what they're doing. They feed the bacteria, they feed the mycorrhizal fungi, and they form a symbiotic relationship, like a teamwork. When we are making compost, we're teaming with microbial life. We facilitate the decomposition. Now, the things will break down naturally anyway, right? It's not that they won't break down because decay is all around us. The decomposition is happening naturally through what they call decomposers, and it's 85% bacteria and 15% mycorrhizal fungi are doing that. Fungi are breaking everything down into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And what those creatures do in the soil, they find the minerals, the nutrients that the plants need, and they, through eating and excreting and eating and excreting again and again and again and again and again. They make the nutrients available to the plant in a format that the plant roots can absorb. Plants are feeding the microbial life, and in a way that's what we're doing when we make compost. So it wants heat, oxygen, food, and we create that environment in our compost that then accelerates the decomposition, and we're able to get like what's in that barrow, which is like reasonable quality compost after a year. And so that's why I'm saying I love the fact that I'm working with these natural forces. So as I say, when I'm at the compost bin or chopping at home, I'm feeling, the furnaces of stellar, of stellar nurseries. I'm feeling the microbial life. I'm feeding it, right? And it just makes me, great.